stage 2, paragraph page 86. And our
Yes.
last headword was Paris, New York type of lesson. Okay, so let's
Okay.
82, page 82. Okay, and our last headword was Paris. Okay, so let's start with revision. Ready? Here you go.
Yes.
Is English grammar difficult? Is English grammar difficult? No. English
No.
grammar
English
isn't
grammar
difficult.
isn't
It's
difficult.
easy.
It's easy.
Is Chinese an easy language to learn? Is Chinese an easy language to learn? No.
No.
Chinese isn't
Chinese
an
isn't
easy language to learn.
an easy language to
It's
learn.
a difficult language
It's a
to
difficult
learn.
language to learn.
Is it difficult for you to speak your language? Is it difficult for you to speak your language? No, it
No,
isn't
it
difficult for
isn't
me
difficult
to
for
speak
me
my language.
to speak my
It's
language.
easy.
It's easy.
Very good. Is it generally easy for people to write with their left hand? Is it generally easy for people to write with their left hand? No, it
No,
isn't generally
it
easy
isn't generally
for
easy
people to write
for people to
with
write
their left hand.
to the left hand.
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
Very good. What's my pen doing? What's my pen doing? Your pen's hanging
The pen
between.
is
Your pen
between.
is hanging
Uh, your pen is hanging
between your finger
between your finger
and your thumb.
and your thumb.
Very good. Is there a light hanging from the ceiling? Is there a light hanging from the ceiling? Yes, there's
Yes,
a light
there's a light
hanging from the ceiling.
hanging from the ceiling.
Wait, is there a map hanging on that wall? Is there a map hanging on that wall? Yes, there's a
Yes,
map
there's a map
hanging on that wall.
hanging on that wall.
Very good. Do you go home after the lesson by car, by bus, by train, or do you walk home? Do you go home after the lesson by car, by bus, by train, or do you walk home? I walk home
I walk
after the
home
lesson.
after the
I
lesson.
don't go by
I
car,
don't go
by
by car,
bus, or by
by bus,
train.
or by train.
Wait, which do you prefer, to walk or to go by car? Which do you prefer, to walk or to go by car? I prefer to
I prefer to go by car
than to walk.
than to walk.
Where do you come to school by train or by bus? Do you come to school by train or by bus? I come to school
I
by
come to school by train.
train. Does she come to school by train or by bus? Does she come to school by train or by bus? She comes to school
She comes to school
by.
by train.
Very good. Are you married? Are you married? Yes or no?
Yes,
I'm married.
I'm married.
Very good. Is Mr. Brown single? Is Mr. Brown single? No.
No,
Mr. Brown
Mr.
isn't
Brown
single.
isn't single.
He's married.
He's married.
Wait, is Miss Brown married? Is Miss Brown married? No. Miss
No,
Brown
Miss
isn't
Brown
married.
isn't married.
She's single.
She's single.
Very good. Has Mr. Brown got a wife? Has Mr. Brown got a wife? Yes. Mr.
Yes,
Brown's
Mr.
got a
Brown's
wife.
got a wife.
Has Mrs. Brown got a husband? Has Mrs. Brown got a husband? Yes. Mrs.
Yes,
Brown's
Mrs.
got a
Brown
husband.
got a husband.
Very good. Is Mrs. Brown's husband standing behind the house? Is Mrs. Brown's husband standing behind the house? No. Mrs.
No,
Brown's husband
Mrs. Brown's husband.
isn't standing behind the house.
He's standing behind the house.
He's standing in front
He's
of the
standing
house.
in front of the house.
Very good. What's your mother's name? What's your mother's name? My mother's name
My mother's
is.
name is Harumi.
What's your father's name? What's your father's name? My father's
My
name
father's
is.
name is Kokichi.
Very good. What's your father's wife's name? What's your father's wife's name? My father's
Father's
wife's name
wife's name
is
is
Harumi.
Harumi.
What's your mother's husband's name? What's your mother's husband's name? My mother's
My
husband's
mother's
name
husband's
is.
name is Kokichi.
Very good. What's the plural of child? What's the plural of child? The plural
The
of
plural
child is children.
is
One
children.
more. The plural of child One more.
uh,
The plural
uh,
of
the
child
plural child
is children.
is children.
Very good. How many children have your mother and father got? How many children have your mother and father got? My mother and
My mother
father have got
and father have got
how many
three children.
children? Very good. Are you an only child? Are you an only child? Yes or no? No,
No, no,
I'm not an only
I'm
child.
not.
An only child.
I only child.
One more. No, I'm not
No, I'm not
an only
only.
child.
I'm only child.
Very good.
Child.
Very good. What do we call this? What do we call this? We call that a
We
pen.
call that a pen.
Very good. What do we call the people in France? What do we call the people in France? We call the people
We call the
in
people
France French.
in France French.
What do we call the thing we wear on our heads? What do we call the thing we wear on our heads? We call the thing
We call the
we
thing
wear on our
we wear
heads
on our
a
heads
hat.
a hat.
What do people generally call their mother and father? What do people generally call their mother and father? People generally call
People generally
their
call
mother and father
the mother and
mom
father
and dad.
mom and dad.
Very good. Are both of my hands on the table? Are both my hands on the table? Yes. Both your
Yes,
hands
both your hands
are on the table.
on the table.
Very good. Next. Are both my hands on the table? Are both my hands on the table? No.
No,
Both your hands
both your hands
aren't on the table.
and on the table.
One's on the table
One's on the
and the
table
other's on your
and the
arm.
other on your arms.
Very good. Are both my hands closed? Are both my hands closed? No.
No,
Both your hands
both your
aren't
hands
closed.
and closed.
One's closed
One's
and the
closed
other's open.
and the others open.
Very good. Are both of these pencil black? Are both of these pencil black? No. Both
No,
those pencils,
both both
those
pencils,
pencils
both pencils
aren't black.
and black.
One's black
One's black
and the other's yellow.
and the
Others,
others yellow. Yellow.
very good. And the other's yellow. Okay, next. What's this? What's this? It's a book.
It's a book.
What kind of book is this? What kind of book is this? It's an English book.
It's an English book.
What kind of room is this? What kind of room is this? It's a classroom.
It's a classroom.
What kind of car do you prefer? What kind of car do you prefer? I prefer a
I prefer
what like a sports
uh,
car, SUV, sedan.
SUV.
Very good. Well, I prefer an SUV.
I prefer SUV.
Very good. Okay, next. Give me some examples of prepositions. Give me some examples of prepositions, please. Some example
Some
of
example
prepositions are
of prepositions
what? Prepositions
prepositions
are on,
are
under,
on,
in,
under,
and from.
in, and from.
Where do you come from? Where do you come from? I come from
I come from
Japan.
Japan.
Where do I come from? Where do I come from? You come from
You
the
come from
Philippines.
from Philippines.
The Philippines.
The Philippines.
Very good. What do we speak with? What do we speak with? We speak with
We speak
our mouths.
with our mouths.
Very good. Where am I taking the book from? Where am I taking the book from? You're taking the book
You are taking the
from the
book
table.
from the table.
What am I putting the pen under? What am I putting the pen under? You're putting the
You
pen
are putting the
under
pen
the book.
under the book.
Very good. What are you sitting on? What are you sitting on? I'm sitting
I'm
on a
sitting
chair.
on the chair.
Very good. Tell me the names of the four cardinal points, please. Tell me the names of the four cardinal points, please. The names
The
of the
names
four
of
cardinal
the
points
cardinal points
are north,
are
south,
north,
east,
south,
and west.
east, and west.
Is Greece west of Italy? Is Greece west of Italy? No.
No,
Greece isn't west
Greece isn't
of
west
Italy.
of Italy.
It's east of Italy.
It's east of Italy.
Is Paris in the south of France? Is Paris in the south of France? No,
No,
Paris isn't
Paris
in the
isn't.
south of
In
France.
the south of France.
It's in the north of France.
In the north of France.
Is Germany east or west of Italy? Is Germany east or west of Italy? Germany isn't east
Germany
or
isn't
west
east
of Italy.
or west of Italy.
It's north of Italy.
It's north of Italy.
Very good. Okay, so that's the end of our revision. Very good, very fast. Let's have new word. Okay, so repeat. Place.
Uh,
Remember,
As
place.
place.
Some of.
Some of.
Very good. Okay, listen. For example, place is a noun. There are three places in this room. One, two, three. Place to sit. There's somebody sitting in that place. There's somebody sitting in that place. Nobody sitting in that place. Another example of place is the names of some of the places I like in Japan are Kyoto, Hokkaido, etc. Okay, so let's practice. How many places are there in this room? How many places are there in this room? There are three
There are
places
three
in
places
that room.
in that room.
Is there anybody sitting in that place? Is there anybody sitting in that place? Yes, there's
Yes,
somebody
there's somebody
sitting in that place.
sitting in that place.
Greg, tell me the names of some of the places you like in your country. Tell me the names of some of the places you like in your country. The names of
The
some
names
of the
of
places
some of the
I
places
like in my country
I like in my country
are
are
what places do you like in Japan? Like
uh,
Okinawa
to, Okinawa
and
and
Tokyo.
Hokkaido
Hokkaido, very
and
good.
Hokkaido.
And Tokyo as well. Very good. Okay, next repeat. Opposite.
Opposite.
Very good. Okay, listen. The opposite of long is short. The opposite of high is low. Okay, let's practice. What's the opposite of high? What's the opposite of high? The opposite of
The
high
opposite
is
of
low.
high is low.
What's the opposite of behind? What's the opposite of behind? The opposite
The
of
opposite
behind
of
is
behind
in front of.
is in front of.
What's the opposite of tall? What's the opposite of tall? The opposite of
The
tall
opposite tall
is short.
is short.
What's the opposite of the verb to teach? What's the opposite of the verb to teach? The opposite
The
of the
opposite
verb to teach.
of the verb is
To
teach.
teach
Of
is to
teach
learn.
is to learn
Very good. Next, repeat without.
without.
Very good. Okay, listen. The opposite of with is without. For example, we can write with a pen or a pencil, but we can't write without a pen or a pencil. Okay, let's practice. What's the opposite of with? What's the opposite of with? The opposite of
The
with
opposite
is without.
of it is of
With is without.
is without.
Can we write without a pen or a pencil? Can we write without a pen or a pencil? No, we can't
No,
write
we can't write
without a pen
without a
or a
pen
pencil.
or a pencil.
Can we speak without opening our mouths? Can we speak without opening our mouths? No, we
No,
can't speak
we can't speak
without opening
without
our
opening
mouths.
our mouth.
Can you read without wearing glasses? Can you read without wearing glasses? Yes or no?
Yes,
I can read
I can't
without
read
wearing glasses.
without wearing glasses.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Verb.
Her,
Noun.
now,
Very good. Okay, so let's talk about verbs and noun. Okay, repeat. Translation.
translation.
Very good. Okay, listen. A verb is a word we use for an action. So verb is an action word. For example, take, put, open, close, run, walk, etc. A noun is the name of a thing, like place, animals, etc. For example, book. picture, wall are nouns. The word translate is a verb, whereas the word translation is a noun. The word mean is a verb, whereas the word meaning is a noun. Let's practice. What's the difference between a verb and a noun? What's the difference between a verb and a noun? The difference between
The
a
difference
verb
between
and a
a
noun
verb
is
and a
that
noun
a verb
is that
is a word
verb. It's a word
we use for an
we
action,
use
for
for
an
an
action,
action,
whereas a noun
whereas
is the
noun
name of a
is the
thing.
name of the thing.
Very good. Give me an example of a verb. Give me an example of a verb, please. Take is a verb.
Take
Is a verb.
it's a verb.
Give me an example of a noun. Give me an example of a noun, please. Book is a
Book
noun.
is a noun.
Is the word translation a verb or a noun? Is the word translation a verb or a noun? The word translation
The word
is a
translation
noun.
is a noun.
Very good. Next, repeat. During,
During,
about.
about,
Very good. Okay, listen. During, the word during is a preposition. For example, we don't speak Japanese during the lesson. We speak English. About is a preposition as well. For example, I don't walk about the room during the lesson. I sit on my chair. She doesn't walk about the room during the lesson. She sits on her chair. Okay, let's practice. Do we speak Italian during the lesson? Do we speak Italian during the lesson? No, we don't
no,
speak
we don't
Italian
speak
during
Italian
the lesson.
during the
We
lesson.
speak English.
We speak English.
Do you walk about the room during the lesson? Do you walk about the room during the lesson? No, I don't
No,
walk
I don't
about
walk
the room
about the room
during the lesson.
during
I
the
sit
lesson.
on my chair.
I sit on my chair.
Very good. Does she walk about the room during the lesson? Does she walk about the room during the lesson? No, she
No,
doesn't walk about
she
the room
doesn't walk about the room
during the lesson.
during the lesson.
She sits on her chair.
She sit on the chair.
Very good. About how many questions do you answer during the lesson? About how many questions do you answer during the lesson? I answer about
I answer about
how many do you think? 60, 50
60
questions during the
questions
lesson.
during the lesson.
Very good. Okay, next let's have some.
So, some.
Very good. Okay, listen. Not all people in my town are men. Some are men and some are women. Not all the cars in Europe are Fords. Some are Fords and some are Fiats, Renaults, Volkswagen, Volvos, etc. Not all the people in my place are married. Some are married and some are single. Okay, let's practice. Are all the people in your town men? Are all the people in your town men? No, not
No,
all the people
not all the
in my
people
town are men.
in my town are men.
Some are men
Some are
and
men
some are women.
and some are women.
Very good. Are all the cars in Japan Toyota? Are all the cars in Japan Toyota? No, not
No,
all the cars
not all the
in
cars
Japan are
in
Toyota.
Japan are Toyota.
Some are Nissan,
Some are
Mitsubishi,
Nissan,
Honda,
Mitsubishi,
Subaru,
Honda,
etc.
Subaru, etc.
Very good. Are all the people in your place married? Are all the people in your place married? No, not
No,
all the people
not all
in
the
my
people
place are
in my
married.
place are married.
Are married.
Are married.
Some are married
Some are
and
married
some are single.
and some are single.
Where do all the people in Europe speak Spanish? Do all the people in Europe speak Spanish? No, not
No,
all the people
not all the
in
people
Europe speak
in Europe
Spanish.
speak
Some
Spanish.
speak Spanish
Some speak
and
Spanish
some speak
and some speak
other languages.
other languages.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Anything.
Anything,
Non-specific.
non-specific,
Something.
something,
Not anything.
not anything.
Very good. What?
What?
Specific.
Specific.
A light.
A light.
A picture.
A picture.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word anything and something both mean the same thing. We use anything in questions and negative sentences, and we use something in positive sentences. For example, have I got anything in my right hand? Yes, you've got something in your right hand. Positive something. Question again. Have I got anything in my left hand? Negative answer. No, you haven't got anything in your left hand. Okay, so the word anything, we use it in non-specific question, whereas the word what is specific and need a specific answer. For example, a light, a book. So, not specific. Is there anything on the ceiling? Yes, there's something on the ceiling, not specific. Or what specific? What's on the ceiling? A light is on the ceiling. Okay, very good. Okay, next repeat. Anything.
Anything.
Very good. Okay, listen. Have I got anything in my right hand? Yes, you've got something in your right hand. Is there anything on the table? Yes, there's something on the table. Okay, so let's practice. Have I got anything in my right hand? Have I got anything in my right hand? Yes, you've
Yes,
got something
you got
in your
something
right hand.
in your right hand.
Is there anything on the table? Is there anything on the table? Yes, there's
Yes,
something
just
on
something
the table.
on the table.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading. Okay, so our reading is at stage 1, page 36. And our last head word was touch. Okay, start with head
That
word sentence.
sentence.
Hmm.
Uh, Sentence. But this, it's a sentence. What?